I just got in one of the best Bitcoin miners in the world ever. It's called the MicroBT Whatsminer M60S, right? So this is a Bitcoin miner. How much does it earn? How much does it cost to run? Why is it so great? You know, why is this exciting? You know, yo, what's up? My name is VoskCoin on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. Whoop, doing mining stuff out here. We're gonna enter the pod. Let me show you this thing because you'll quickly notice that one of these is not like the other one. So we're inside the pod. Whoa! Okay, airborne spider, airborne spider! But, sorry, excuse me. The point here being, sorry about the glare. One of these miners is not like the other one. I've got a lot of Antminers in here, among many other miners on the VoskCoin mining farm, but this is the MicroBT Whatsminer. Oh yeah. This is one of the best, most profitable Bitcoin miners you can buy right now. The initial performance has been pretty freaking exciting, but I'm not trying to overhype it, if you will. But considering that that miner is sitting pretty close to, for example, my Antminer T19, it has almost the exact same power consumption with an additional 100 terahash a second in Bitcoin mining power. So it's essentially two miners for the electrical bill and the footprint of one. But how much more does it cost to do that? And does it really matter? Because if you're going to start Bitcoin mining, you got to make sure your Bitcoin mining operation is actually going to be viable after the Bitcoin halving. All that and more after Tales for the weather. It's a little loud in here. I'd say I'm apologizing, but I mean, come on. We're at a mining operation. So a quick plug right here. So this is an Altair mining PDU. These things are freaking sick, and you can buy one for only less than $100 shipped. And that's if you punch in the code VoskCoin that's in and use our link in the video description. Why do I bring it up? Oh, so I can make like a $3 or something on the referral? No, because honestly, it's really sweet, and it's got data readouts. This is critical for all kinds of reasons. But so we can see we're pulling over 14 amps there, almost, you know, an entire 15 amps. And that we're consuming about 3,488 watts consistently on this. So you have to make sure your circuit can handle this. A 15 amp circuit cannot handle the MicroBT Whatsminer M60S. You'll need at least 20 amps. And yeah, it consumes all of 3,488 watts. But that's okay, because this thing is a monster. And it's mining at a higher hash rate than it even advertises. I really cannot understate how sweet this Bitcoin miner is. So no fluff, just stuff, right? Let's just log in here. So I'm remoting into my mining farm, and then I'm remoting into the miner there. So I logged into my router, I got my IP address. All right, so, you know, I'm looking for Whatsminer, MicroBT. I wish it would say MicroBT Whatsminer M60S, but that might be a little long. But anyway, you find the IP address. You can use an IP scanner tool if you're unfamiliar with that stuff, and that'll get you where you want to go. Username default should be there as admin. You will put in the password admin as well. If you're totally new to mining and setting up miners, check out our ultimate ASIC mining guide, where I try to run through everything I could possibly think of when it comes to, well, mining Bitcoin. These are very simple machines, right? So when you log in, you go to the miner configuration, and you can put your mining pool information, save it. I normally just restart it, and that's that. They also have a high and low power mode, so this can hash at an even higher hash rate, but it will have a higher power consumption. It can also hash at a lower hash rate, which would lead to a lower power consumption, and you would assume that would have a higher efficiency. I think this thing is really well tuned at the normal rate, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Also, with the fact that this thing is pulling over 14 amps, right? I don't know how much I really want to crank this up, because more power consumption is a higher electric bill. It's more heat. You got to make sure your infrastructure can handle all this stuff. And I mean, I got a good thing going. I'm just gonna leave it alone. And at my electricity rate, Efficiency is king, and that's why MicroBT and their WhatsMminers, especially this new generation, has seriously piqued my interest. I originally thought I was going to receive the 186 terahash a second version, but I actually received the 194. So with that said, my efficiency, if you look at the label on it, is projected to be 17.5 joules a terahash or watts a terahash, which does explain some of the increased performance over what I expected to receive when I'm talking about the 186 miner. But this means that it's performing actually still a little bit above than it is advertised. And furthermore, this is a very efficient miner, and this gives me great faith that there are other different variations of this model will be on target with what they're advertised or projected to do. Just make sure you understand which model you're buying and that you receive, because ultimately there's different performance and pricing between these variations. So at a glance, we are mining at 195 terahash a second. So if you look at this, right, we're mining at 195 terahash a second. That's almost 200. We can say an average Antminer, which is the main MicroBT competitor here, is mining at about 100 terahash a second on the S19 series for about 3,200 watts before you do any fancy tuning, right? That's how they work out of the box. That's how Bitmain made them. Now we compare the current generation, or the new generation, if you will, of the MicroBT Whatsminer M60S. So they reached out to me to review this. Obviously, I was intrigued. I was like, yeah, we would love to review that. So this miner was sourced directly from them, but we've conferred with some others. We've tested a few others in the meantime as well. So you have a miner that is basically two S19s for like almost the same power consumption in the same footprint. I mean, that is crazy mining farm scaling density. But what about efficiency, watts per terahash, right? So these are advertised as at 195, and you can see the power meter here, consuming about 3,500 watts. This is an efficiency of about 18 watts a terahash, or joules a terahash. So this is my third-party data. They didn't tell me anything about this. This is what we found in our real-world mining testing. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what you're getting paid at on the mining pool, right? So whatever the mining pool says you're doing, that's what you're going to be paid on. That's what you're going to be earning. So I think what's really freaking cool about the dashboard is that they actually accurately, like almost to the watt, estimate the power consumption. So this is crazy. And you may have noticed in the intro clip that the miner may have seemed kind of loud, but that's actually not really the case. It's pretty quiet. It's running in an environment that's around 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Most of the noise you hear is actually background noise from an Ice River KS3M. These things are pretty quiet if the environment's cool. Obviously, if the fan ramps up more and more and more, it can of course become loud. But in a cool environment, like maybe your cold basement, this is actually a very viable at-home mining rig. And with that efficiency, in a way, it makes it having proof or much more viable to, work beyond that. We've got 3 hash boards in this machine. We have the attached power supply on top, right? You see the model, okay? The hash board is specific to the WhatsmMiner M60S, and the control board that's used here is shared with many of their other models, like the M50 and the M30. We took it apart to check all this out. So this is great news. So if you already have some spare control boards, all you would need to do is flash the latest firmware, and then you'll be able to fix this machine in the event that you need to. Granted, these all have their warranty from the factory, and I have heard from others that WhatsmMiner has been a pretty good experience, right, for miners within warranty as opposed to their competitor, Bitmain. So let's look at the hash rate of the last 24 hours. Very good. Consistently over 190 terahash a second, on average. You see the 24-hour hash rate is actually 193 terahash a second. So looking at the average hash rate per day, the first day I fired it up, and it seems to have done some self-tuning and kind of settled in, and now it is consistently hitting 195, 194, 24-hour average. Here it was a little bit lower at 192. Right now, Bitcoin is putting out $33 million of new coins mined per day. This is incredible and up huge from a few months ago. This is setting many miners, including myself, to have a much more viable shot at mining beyond the Bitcoin halving. So what is the Bitcoin halving? So in May of 2024, the amount of Bitcoins mined per block, which is thus per day, will be cut in half. The mining rewards will be cut in half. So, how much is this miner making, and can we literally survive the rewards being halved? So let's take the number of about 0.00043 Bitcoin. That equates to about, we'll round up here, sounds nicer, $16 a day, all right, in mining profitability. If we look at the mining profitability calculators, it's projecting that we would mine about $15 a day. So we beat that by about $1. And it's estimating our power costs at 3,441 watts to cost about $8.26 at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. So we are, in my electricity rate, and yours will vary, you figure it out, run your numbers, run your math. This thing cost me about $8.50 a day to run, worst case. I like to round up, so to just, be more conservative and give my operation a better bet. And again, electricity, prices are unique to you, right? I cannot understate like how impressive this is, because I've got this thing sitting near a Bitmain Antminer T19, and they have nearly the same power consumption and nearly the same hash rate, except this one's got double. All right, so it's impressive, like truly. And I love the fact that their new generation uses the C19, C20 plug setup that you are accustomed to with their previous generation miners. It's got overlap with the power supply on the M50 Whatsminers, right? So very key important note here, right? WhatsmMiner has one official website. It's WhatsmMiner.com. All right, they also have their MicroBT website, which is quite simply microbt.com. But there are so many scam sites, so many impersonators. So this is their official MicroBT site. And what you're really going to be looking for here is going to be the WhatsmMiner.com website, right? So I don't have an affiliate code or anything with them. I'll link it out down in the video description below. I'm going to push up for a coupon code if I can get it for you guys. So I'll post it down there in the description as well. I mean, if I can help you guys save coin, that's always the dream and the goal here. They got multiple new miner models and all that stuff. A lot of these are, very, very industrial grade. They may be water cooled. They may be the server rack style. They're focused more maybe on density as opposed to efficiency, right? I mean, look at that hash rate output, huge. But the power efficiency is actually lower than the M60S that we're dealing with. And they do have a model that's not quite as powerful, the M60. So with this higher efficiency, right, comes a higher price point. These are listed somewhere around $5,000. So they're somewhere between 2 to 3 times more expensive than the previous generation of miners, but they have a much higher efficiency, and I really cannot understate how much I appreciate them using the same power plug, right? So this goes right into all my existing PDUs. It's simple, it's effective, it just works. Whereas when you compare it to the S21, they've got that new plug form factor, and the price is higher. The power consumption is about the same, and the estimated hash rate statistically is about the same, or it's about 5% higher. And I'm not just saying this to hype up or show MicroBT Whatsminer. We have a relationship with Bitmain as well. I'm rooted here in data, facts, and just the real world mining profitability. When we crunch the numbers, who's got the better machine and who has a machine that's much more scalable and applicable, right? I've got to change all my PDUs, all my plugs, all my stuff. I got to change it all up for this connector. That sucks, right? Whereas I can rapidly deploy the M60S because I'm outfitted for it. At $16 a day, right? You take out the power consumption, I'm realizing a gain of $7, $8 in Bitcoin. I mean, that's some pretty sweet coin in my pocket. And I think that obviously Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has a much brighter future. So, let's just take the lower number there of $7. We'll break it out over 365, so $2,500, right? So it would essentially take you 2 years to break even. There's going to be a halving in about half a year, so it throws that projection off. But who doesn't think that Bitcoin's going to hit a new all-time high and is paying attention to Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency market over the next couple of years? I think this is going to be just fine. And the fact of the matter is myself and many huge players are continuing to build and build and build and expand their Bitcoin mining farms. The future's looking bright for Bitcoin, as far as I'm concerned. And we need something like this as they continue to just inflate and devalue our currencies. So, I mean, I'm pretty excited about all this. I'm pretty impressed, to be frank. This is my first miner that I've got into the mining farm of the new generation of Bitcoin miners. And the results have, simply put, been impressive. The uptime on this machine has been great. I mean, it's just been crushing it for over 5 days, right? We're not getting any errors. It's working well. It's all you could really want and ask for. What do you think about the MicroBT Whatsminer though, right? The M60S in particular is very powerful, very efficient, and it's reasonably priced, I would say. It's much cheaper than their competitors, yeah. But $5 grand for a Bitcoin miner with the Bitcoin halving in less than half a year, it makes you think you're going to need to crunch the numbers. But if Bitcoin doubles, wow, just doubles. Bitcoin miners and owners of this miner in particular are going to be in for a really good time. So as always, I don't know the future, but I do know that sticking with this long term has yielded great results. I know I'm thankful to do what I do. I'm thankful if you've taken the time to watch this video, especially all the way through like this. Please leave a comment. Seriously, please. Let me know your thoughts on this miner. And if you got no comments, just, thoughts, just be like, hey man, I watched it that far and I'm just tuning in from wherever you are. As always, we close out this video in premium style with 10 seconds of Tails, our resident Shiba Inu, our Lord Mascot Owner, Chief General Tails Vosk here on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. My name is Vosk. I'm the guy that yells at the camera and works here. So, hey, that's all I got. I will see you on the next video.